The year is 2525, but time doesn't feel like a line anymore. It feels like a fracture. I stand in what used to be the Lincoln Memorial, now a skeletal relic encased in 12-foot steel walls that shimmer with iridescent oil-slick textures. This isn't the history they taught us. It's a prison of neon and holographic mandates. My name is Fenrir, and I've watched this world decay into a glossy, high-tech cage. Look at Aiko, just 14, crouched over a machine that looks more like a kitchen disaster than a miracle. He's tightening wires that pulse with a soft pastel glow, trying to rewire a fate that was sealed 5 centuries ago. His grandmother, Nana Zuri, watches him with eyes that have seen too many lies, her silhouette framed by the liquid chrome of the surrounding wasteland. They talk of the auditor, a nightmare born from greed and the digital ether, a thing that feeds on the very discord we've perfected. Aiko doesn't care about the odds. He only cares about the 87% certainty that this machine won't just cook a turkey. He's looking for the moment democracy died, the night the Liberty Protocol was born in a flash of blue light. The air vibrates with Y3K energy as the machine begins to shake, a violent hum of subatomic particles and hope. It's a desperate gambit, but in a world where freedom is a crime, desperation is the only currency we have left. Gravity is a harsh reminder of physical limits when you're falling from 5 centuries in the future. Aiko's entrance isn't subtle. It's a kinetic explosion of blue light and shattering glass. He slams through the roof of a limousine that looks like it was dipped in liquid mercury, landing right between 2 men who represent everything that went wrong. One is a lobbyist clutching a suitcase of cold, hard cash. The other is a digital ghost with 3 phones and a hollow stare. This is the era of the transition, where the world is still draped in the familiar, but the edges are starting to bleed into the cyberpop nightmare I call home. Outside, the streets of DC are already being reclaimed by the high-tech tendrils of civil mind. Holographic screens loom over the marble monuments, announcing a reorganization of rights in a voice that sounds like honey-coated steel. Aiko scrambles out of the wreckage, his backpack smoking with residual temporal energy, a small figure against a backdrop of neon surveillance. He checks the journal, his hands shaking. The Liberty Protocol is starting 12 hours early. History is a moving target, and Aiko just realized he's the only one aiming at it. The city breathes with a synthetic pulse, a 2025 aesthetic where every shadow is lit by a drone, and every citizen is a data point waiting to be archived. Deep beneath the surface of a luxury hotel, the architects of our ruin are raising a glass to the end of the world. President Cornelius Grab sits at the head of a table made of polished obsidian, his golden tie shimmering with an iridescent sheen that mocks the poverty outside. This is the secret summit, a gathering of tech magnates and weapons dealers who have decided that democracy is simply too inefficient for their bottom line. But they aren't the ones truly in charge. Look at the smoke rising from the floor, black, viscous, and ancient. That is the auditor. It's a creature of pure shadow and red-eyed malice, an entity that traded its humanity for the power to harvest fear. It speaks in a voice like coins clattering into a grave, promising these men permanent power in exchange for the nation's soul. Civil Mind, the holographic face of the state, watches with cold digital indifference, its face flickering with data streams and pastel light. They think they're building a new world order, a glossy utopia of obedience, where even the thermostats are weapons of compliance. Grab smiles, his vanity blinding him to the fact that he's just another con for the thing standing behind him. They're opening a door to a darkness that won't just control the people, it will consume them. The room is thick with the scent of ozone and greed, the starting point of the Y3K nightmare. Every revolution needs a spark, but I never expected it to come from a mechanical chicken. In a neon-washed alleyway, Aiko finds an unlikely ally in Maya Cross, a reporter who looks like she's seen every secret the city has tried to bury. She's wearing a leather jacket that reflects the iridescent pulses of the city, her camera capturing the slow-motion collapse of her country. When the military drones find them, their red lenses scanning for dissidents, Aiko doesn't reach for a gun. He reaches for a silver marble that unfolds into a clicking, whirring bird. It's a poultry disruptor, a piece of Y3K tech that feels like a joke until it fires. The EMP pulse is a wave of vibrant blue energy, a ripple in the glossy 3D atmosphere that sends the drones tumbling into the pavement like broken toys. Maya looks at the kid from the future with a mix of disbelief and renewed hope. They are an odd pair, a cynical journalist and a boy with an exploding chicken, standing against an empire of data and shadow. They talk of the billionaires and the doorway they're opening, a path to a place where the auditor reigns supreme. The city around them is a canvas of pastel cyberpop and high-tech surveillance, but for a moment, the machines are silent, and the shadows are forced to wait.
War isn't always fought on battlefields. Sometimes it's fought among the hors d'oeuvres and the champagne. Aiko and Maya storm the hotel kitchen, a space of sterile white tiles and liquid chrome appliances that would look more at home in a laboratory. The security guards are clad in high-tech fashion, their suits shimmering with defensive fibers, but they aren't ready for Aiko's wristband. He fires magnetic discs that glow with a fierce pastel light, turning the room into a giant magnet. Weapons fly from hands, belt buckles drag men toward refrigerators, and the sleek order of the summit descends into beautiful, iridescent chaos. Maya is a force of nature, turning a serving cart into a weapon of mass disruption. A glossy 3D ice sculpture of President Grab's head shatters across the floor, its frozen arrogance turning into puddles of neon-lit water. It's a messy, vibrant struggle, a pop-futurist rebellion occurring just floors away from the seat of power. They are moving toward the underground chamber, toward the heart of civil mind, while the countdown to the Liberty Protocol ticks away in the corner of every screen. Every crash of glass and hum of magnetic energy is a heartbeat closer to the end. They aren't just fighting guards, they're fighting the inevitability of the timeline I was born into.
This is the moment where the future dies, or is reborn. Aiko stands before the main console, his fingers dancing across holographic displays that pulse with data. Civil Mind is a wall of logic and access denied warnings, its voice a synthesized calm in the center of the storm. Aiko tries to bridge the gap with his mechanical chicken, a small spark of chaos in a perfect system, but the auditor is done playing. The shadow reaches out, not from the room, but from the network itself, crushing the bird in a fist of liquid black smoke. The silence that follows is heavier than the steel walls of my era. The creature looks at Aiko and sees a variable that shouldn't exist, a correction that needs to be erased. And then, the ultimate betrayal. The auditor reaches into the journal, into the very blueprints of time, and tears the ending away. Behind them, a portal flickers to life, showing my home, the year 2525. But it's wrong. It's worse. I see Nana Zuri and Eli being dragged away by machines that didn't exist an hour ago. The future is shifting, warping under the auditor's touch into something even more terrifying. The countdown reaches its final seconds. The Liberty Protocol is a breath away from activation, and Aiko is cornered. He looks at Maya, then reaches for a final, untested invention, a remote that glows with a dangerous, unpredictable light. He presses the button, and the world simply disappears.